Yes, welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. Do you know where that comes from? That was from a LP by my favourite band called Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Yes, and they had an LP called Brain Salad Surgery, and on it was a track that I nicked a bit of the music off and put it on the Generation Game. Well, I didn't nick it, the BBC sorted it out. There you go. I did the Generation Game for 7 years, don't you know? You wouldn't believe that if you looked at the BBC's history. Talking of television, ITV, let's read this. You see, this is even more confusing now because they look alike, don't they? Did I tell you my mate Stucky? You know about Stucky, he used to work for me. He comes from Billingham, he's got the sore throat all the time. And he said to me, he calls me Joss. Joss, guess who's coming to Babbacombe in a couple of weeks' time? I'm going to see them, Shawaddy Waddy. And he said, Romeo is still playing the drums. You know, the black guy played the drums? Step 3. He couldn't roll his tongue round his R's. Anyway, he's still there. And I said, what about Dave Bartram, the lead singer? He said, he's their manager now, son. I said, what, don't he sing no more? And he said, he gets words wrong, Stucky, doesn't he? No, he's got hemorrhoids. What's that got to do with singing? It did remind me, I was in Beirut once. I was in Beirut and doing a show for the troops in 1983. There's all bullets and everything going on. And the trumpet player said, I can't go on. I said, why? He was a bloke playing the trumpet. He said, I've got terrible piles. I said, what? You don't stick the trumpet up your bum, dear. No, he said, you don't get it, Jim. He said, we have to really squeeze it. And every time I hit a top F, another one pops out. Oh, no. Imagine. Anyway, so I'm sitting on the roof with the brigadier watching all this firefight going on. That's why I couldn't understand why all this tracer went over and then you heard bang, bang, bang. And he said, you never hear the one that kills you. And so I sort of went down and sat on the steps and I could hear the trumpet player. This is what I heard. Yeah, so if you want to get yourself down to Babbacombe, that lovely theatre there, and see Shawelly Welly with them all there, Romeo, Step 3. Anyway, ITV's share price is down, I'm reading today in the paper. It's dropped 1%. It's dropped quite a lot, actually. Their revenue for advertising has dropped. But I think what ITV are doing, they're spreading themselves a bit, aren't they? They've got an ITVX now because they know that streaming is the way forward. So what they've done, though, is put all their old shit on there and everything. We haven't got old shit. We've got things like this on our programme. Don't you worry about that. And so our sales are going from strength to strength. And we have now decided that for people that want to sign up, you will get the first month for £1. And then I think it's $3.99 plus VAT afterwards. But we're going to keep that offer until the end of April. So you've got until the end of April to sign up and get yourself on there for £1. And I want to thank as well all the budding comedians that have gone to ustream.news and registered themselves for our new show, our new series called Laughter Class. And the auditions will start on the 20th of May in Southsea at the Gaiety Bar. And so that's good, in front of a panel. Kev Oikian, you know Kev? Armenian comedian. And Miles Crawford, who's wonderful, you know, from Left, Right and Centre. And Gary Bushell. He knows a thing or two, don't you worry about that. So thanks to you all. And just to remind you, if you fancy having a go, the idea is that we will select 12 comedians from this bunch and then we'll take them to a comedy college where they'll be taught in all the aspects of... My eyeballs have just gone bigger. They'll be taught in all the aspects of comedy, including pantomime, where you have to drag up as a dame. It doesn't mean that you can go to a junior school and tell them about all things that's going on. Right, okay, let's just have a look for a second now at Ernest. We had him on yesterday. Here's another picture of him. I can't believe Ernest Elliott. Okay, this man him and his son were involved in the knifing of some African-sounding man, a black-on-black murder. And this was the man that was let off, but he was got off by the lefties, got off by the human rights as he was being deported back to Jamaica, where he came from. But oh no. they couldn't deport him because it would ruin his family life or something. Well, what about the life of the poor African man that he stabbed with a bloody great knife like that in Greenwich? In Greenwich. The only dangerous thing that ever happened in Greenwich is if you stubbed your finger on your windscreen wiper while you was cleaning the car every Sunday. It is ridiculous. And why didn't the police, why has that happened? Why was he allowed to walk the streets and murder people? When are we going to learn? Does it take you back to the time when the bloke was murdered someone, you know, from the prison, and the other guy was fighting him with the narwhal thing on London Bridge? It's an absolute nightmare. And of course, let's just talk for a second now about what's going on up in Wakefield. Okay, the way I'm looking at it, and I'm reading between the lines, 4 kids had brought in a copy of the holy book, the Quran, and dropped it. And there's a picture of it being scuffed slightly. Well, what's happened now? That's become a hate crime. The police have been involved. These 4 kids have been suspended. And now there's death threats. Death threats. We're in England, aren't we? No. Wakefield. We're in Wakefield. So it doesn't say what colour these kids were. I suppose if they were white kids, it's worse, isn't it? People disrespectful just by being white. I believe there are white Muslims. I've got a copy of the Quran. I read quite a bit of it actually, but I had it kept in my den that was a bit damp, right? And so I opened it up the other week to have a little look about something, check a quote. And you know when they're damp, when a book goes a bit damp, it goes a bit humpty back like that, doesn't it? Eh? And so is that? Should I have to go into hiding now because the copy of the holy book, the Quran, that was in my shed got a bit damp? Now, whose fault is that? Is that God's? Can I mention God? God is God, isn't he? God. Isn't he? She? What is she? It, them? God is a them. That's what God is. But I don't think we have blasphemy laws in this country anymore, do we? So what's going on up there? What is it when... And I saw it on GB News with Patrick Christie's. There was a man there ranting and raving like mad with an Asian accent. He was obviously a Muslim and going on and on and on and on about these kids. And one of these kids was autistic. I mean, come on. And he's had death threats. Why don't the old Bill go around and bang them up? Yeah, go and, yeah. It's absolutely bloody ridiculous, isn't it? Oh, dear. What's the world coming to? In the meantime, we've got this lovely couple. Here they are. And the police have finally found their poor baby. Their poor baby, born in January, left in the woods, dead. Negligent manslaughter, that's the charge. The old Bill. Nick 'em for murder. Nick 'em for murder. Absolutely bloody ridiculous. Well, some human rights lawyer will get them off anyway, probably, won't they? Oh, well, they couldn't actually had post thing. He was this, he's oppressed. You know, he's a convicted rapist from America years ago. And so just let them get on, really. It's not their fault, is it? We'll get them off. And some human rights charity will find them somewhere to live. I hear Frogmore Cottage is vacant at the moment. Perhaps they can go in there. Oh, my gosh. You see, that's not blasphemous, is it? But what the fuck is a gosh? Yeah, probably be something in, it'd probably be something that you can say, well, you shouldn't actually mention goshes anymore. You know, I write this stuff down here, and you just can't make it up, can you? And what's in the headlines? Jeremy Vine, of course. Now, he goes out filming, and he can't wait for someone to crash into him on his bike so he can report them. But I won't say too much in case you get 5 years in prison. But I can on my own TV channel called Ustream. Sign up to it now, ustream.com. You get the first month for £1. You can cancel whenever you want, okay? Come and join us. Come and join us, come and join. That was a song from Boobs in the Wood. Love it, politically incorrect. Okay, folks, lots coming up. See you soon.
Ustream, the exciting, funny, snowflake melting, unwoke TV station, has news for you. You can now sign up to our brand new platform and get your first month for £1, or sign for a year and get 2 months completely free. Yeah, laugh like you used to. You won't see these guys on your normal TV. Don't you worry about that. Chubby Brown, Jethro, Freddie Starr, Mike Osmond, Bobby Davro, Mick Miller. Need I say more? Oh, and of course my favourite, Jim Davidson. Plus, 3 live shows a week and scheduled shows. This is marvellous. Become a member now. Go to Ustream.com. Sign up, select your package and laugh like you used to. See us on Roku and in the coming days on all TVs via our brand new app. So sign up now before the rush. Watch Ustream. You will love it. And your knickers will dry out later.
They filth.